Hey Aries, welcome back, guys. Don't forget to click that like button, subscribe if you haven't. Ooh, if you are new here, just know that this isn't all Aries channel. Aries, I'm hearing that you have a special talent, something that's very different than anybody else in your family. It really is something that makes you stand out from the crowd. Within your family, your school, your coworkers. So it doesn't matter where you go. I'm hearing that you're going to stand out regardless. And I'm also hearing that this talent, this gift that you have, is something that even you yourself don't understand how it is that you can do it, or how it is that you know the things that you know. It could be something like you speak to animals, you understand animals, or you might go somewhere and nobody will be there in the store, and then all of a sudden, like, everybody shows up. It's not just one talent. I feel like you have several different gifts, several different talents that really sets you apart from everybody else. And it has really caused you to struggle in your life because of how people treated you so differently. you know and for some of you, maybe a couple of you, you're also very you're talented when it comes to music. Maybe you sing, maybe you play instruments. And the thing is that there's people around you who are claiming that you worship the devil because of it. There's an old belief from years and years ago that started long, long time ago, possibly before I was ever born, that if you were somebody who can sing very well, or if you were able to write songs, or let's say you can dance, or you were just very talented in some kind of entertaining way, right? It was said that you sold your soul to the devil. Yeah. And people believe that. People still believe that. There's people today that still believe that musicians, sorry, that musicians sell their soul to the devil. The thing is, Aries, is that it doesn't matter what you do, right? You can't make everybody happy. That's the truth. They're going to say something. It doesn't matter what you do. You're always going to be different than everybody else. You get to a certain point in your life where you got to just accept that you're never going to fit in with certain people. Because, yes, the only way I can explain it this is that, yes, y'all, let's just say we're all ants, right? I'm going to use this as an example. You're ants, they're ants, right? They're fire ants, and you are sugar ants, but you're both ants. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to mix with these people regardless. No matter how much you try, you're never going to be able to mix in with this group, with certain people. There's certain people around you who are going to look down on you and judge you and be rude to you and try to block you or try to agitate you just because you're different, just because you have a gift. But there's a reason you have this gift. You know, Spirit doesn't just give people gifts for nothing, that are useless, that are not, for the higher purpose. You see, you have a gift that is for the higher purpose. And this is one that Spirit would like for you to work on and to start paying more attention to, and find out, go online and start researching and start finding out what it is that you are. Because I'm hearing for some of you, you don't even know what you truly are. You don't know the name of what you are. You just know that you can do things. You have an ability that other people don't. You also have experiences that other people, can't even imagine. They're looking at you like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you saying? Why are you, what? Why are you telling me these things, right? Because they don't have those experiences. Everybody's different. But of course, instead of people accepting that everybody's different, no, these people want to harm you. They want to get into your life, get into your business, point the finger at you. Oh, there she is. There he is. They sold their soul to the devil. Things like that. They want to just make you even more, what is the word? I want to say different, but it's not just different. It's them wanting to, like, put something over you that is, like, supposed to be shameful when what you are and who you are is not shameful. Everybody's different, you know? Everybody has something in them, a purpose in their life. And this gift that you have is part of your purpose. It's your personal journey. Not only that, but these people that are been trying to shame you, make you feel bad, make you feel, like, oh, you're doing something so wrong, right? These people, there's a part of them that's resentful because it's like, why couldn't they do these things? Why couldn't they come up with these things? Right? Because some of them do believe you're lying, just so you know. I'm sure you know that already. But why can't they come up with these marvelous stories, right? Why can't they have this big imagination like you? Because they think you're lying. But you're not lying. You have experienced things that other people can't even imagine, really. They it's like when you have shared these things when you were a child and told people certain things, you have said things, and it kind of made people think like, like Harry Potter, like, what are you talking about? Like Harry Potter, um, like, how can you be this way? How can you do these things? And there is a level of jealousy coming from these people, resentment, and from some of you, these are people who are like very close to you, siblings, even, your parents, one of your parents, people who are supposed to be there for you. The thing is you have struggled a lot and you have been tested a lot in your life. And I'm hearing that every time you've been tested and challenged, you have always made it out on the other side. And that is one thing that these people don't understand. They get angry, they get upset because they're like, wait a minute, how is it that Aries is able to do these things? People resent that. They feel like you should be, stumbling down, and you're not. You're strong. And they think that you should be like, maybe in a mental hospital because of the things that you've endured in your life. And you're not. You're still standing. You're not just standing, but you're thriving. And how are you thriving? You're thriving because you're healing. You're doing the inner work. You're taking care of yourself. Maybe you're even taking on some kind of hobbies, right? It makes these people feel like they need to challenge you because how dare you do these things? How dare you be different? I'm hearing there's this huge witch hunt, and there's been this huge witch hunt for years. Like, people just had it out for you. There's been this crazy witch hunt. You know, if we were just like 500 years ago, people would be coming at your door with pitchforks and stuff and flames and chanting crazy stuff, saying that something was wrong with you when they're the one that's coming to your door with pitchforks and you know what I'm saying? And they're going to be trying to point out that something was wrong with you, right? Yeah, that's what's going on. In the history, I'm going to tell you something. If you look at history, a lot of the people who were accused of being witches, and even dogs were accused. Did you know that? Men were also accused, not very often, but there was some men, there was even a dog, I believe, that was accused of being a witch. The thing is that when you find out about these people who were accused in history, and I'm using this as an example, I'm not saying that you're a witch, okay? But I'm saying that, there was something different about you, and there was something different about them. There was a lot of them that were extremely beautiful. Some of them were very talented. Some of them were even herbalists. They can heal people. And because they were so intelligent, people thought, oh no, nobody could be that intelligent. So can you imagine? We had a society of people who were going around trying to unalive people just because they were what's it called? Prodigies. Yes. I believe a lot of the people who were hunted down during the witch hunts were prodigies. They were just extremely intelligent and it made people afraid of them. I'm giving you this as an example so you understand why people treat you the way they do because they're afraid of you. Some of them are afraid, some of them are jealous, some of them are just confused. They don't know what they're looking at, they don't know what they're sensing from you, but they know that they're sensing something. You know, they say that we have, feel, touch, smell, you know what I'm saying? Our sight. We have, what's the other one? We have our feel, touch, what is it? Touching. I forgot the five senses, guys. Let's see, sight, taste, feel. There's two more I'm forgetting, huh? Okay. Well, you know what I'm talking about, right? The thing is that women have been proven to have a sixth sense. And the sixth sense is where we can know when somebody's watching us. I didn't even know this. I didn't know this until I became a security guard. And I had reported on my report because after my shift, you have to do a report about what happened during your shift, right? I had to report it. I said, hey, on my report, every time I go on the sixth floor of the garage, I could feel somebody watching me. And I've looked everywhere and I can't figure out where they're coming from. And I put all this in my report. I didn't see nobody. I didn't smell nobody. I didn't hear anybody. No other knowledge or anything else that made me think that somebody had been there or was there. There was no litter. There was no trash. There was nothing that let me know that somebody was there. And you have to remember, I work graveyards. I'm a night owl. And that's why I'm a night owl. I've been working graveyards, for my whole life, right? Um, the thing is, the guy that took over my shift, he read my report. He went out there, looked around to see what it is. Was there something up there? Did I miss something? Why was I feeling that? Because I had been feeling it for a few days, and I decided to go ahead and just report it, just in case. He found two guys that had ran away from Canada that were hiding in San Antonio because they didn't want to go back to Canada, and they were living, where the cars go down in the garage because it was in the parking garage. Where the cars go down in the garage, there's a space, I kid you not, that's about maybe 12 to 14 inches. There's a tiny little space there. And I couldn't see him because I worked at night. But Travis, his name was Travis, he found it during the day. And he said he passed it like so many times. And the thing is if he wasn't looking specifically for any little thing, he wouldn't have seen it. He wouldn't have noticed it. It turns out two men were living in that little crevice. Yeah, I don't know how long, but they were living there in that crevice. They even had clothes in there. They had drinks in there. And when I would walk around there, they would watch me. They shouldn't have watched me because then I wouldn't have known they were there. They should have just went back to sleep, right? Anyways, so women are born with a sixth sense, right? How do we do it? We don't know. The point is that there are other senses that we have that we ourselves don't even know how we do it. Like, I can't tell you how I know. And I think most women cannot tell you how they know when somebody's watching them with such accuracy. That's the thing. And I didn't know this was a thing until my boss told me, oh, yeah, that's why we hire women, because y'all have another sense that we don't have. He said, yeah, women will pick up on something, somebody hiding in a floor. Women will pick up on it quicker than a man does. And his belief, my boss's belief, is that because women are usually targeted, you know, on a regular basis, that maybe we develop that extra sense. Could be true. Who knows? Or we could be born with it, right? The thing is that there's a different senses that we don't even know about. Unless we experience them ourselves, we don't even know that there is such a thing. You know, that there's other things, and you have something that's very different. Something that's very different than most people who have gifts, you know. The thing is you're going to have people like this in your life that are going to bother you, harass you, resent you. You know, it's part of the package. Did you know that Einstein, people used to call him crazy before they went on and accepted that he was just a genius? People used to call him crazy. They thought something was wrong with him. Yeah. The thing about everything I'm trying to say here is that I also see here that you have been afraid. You know, there's been times when you have even scared yourself, wondering how you did things, making yourself question who you are as a person. And for some of you, I feel like you come from a religious background. So if you come from a religious background, you might have heard these things like, "Oh, people who do this or people who are like that, they're devils, they're demons." No, they're not. No, they're not. There are things in this world that we're never going to understand, we're never going to learn, we're never going to see in our lifetime. And it probably won't be another 100 or 200 years that people will be able to identify something that we can't understand today. You know what I mean? We always think that we know everything, you know, whatever year that we are in, right, as human beings, right? Whatever year that we're in, we always think that we're so advanced. I bet you people in the 1920s who were driving cars, you know, the first automobiles that, you know, first came out, right? I bet you they thought that they were so advanced, right? If they were to see our life now, where we just get on our phones and order something, and and somebody will just bring us food, that would be like, what? You didn't call nobody. You just touched this box. Can you imagine? You know what I mean? Can you imagine what they would think? You touched this box and then somebody just bought you food? What? You know, bought your groceries? Bought you over some dog food? What is dog food? You know, because they didn't have dog food back then. You know, as a matter of fact, in the 80s, people didn't buy dog food. We just gave the dogs the scraps off the table, you know. Most people, I don't even know anybody who was buying dog food back in the 80s, you know. This whole thing about buying dog food is new, right? So can you imagine telling somebody just let's shorten the gap, right? Let's go back 60 years, 70 years. You know, telling somebody, "Oh, you have to buy dog food for your dog." It was unheard of back then. The thing is that what you are today is something different that nobody's going to be able to identify until years from now. You might be afraid. You might question yourself. You know, you might be afraid of yourself. Well, it actually looks like you've experienced these things, you know, and you question, what are you? Spirit is saying, don't question it. When the time is right, you're going to find out what it is called, that what you are, right? For some of you, you might be a touch no. You know, it's somebody who touches something and then you just know things. And you don't even know how you know, but you just know. You know what people have done, or their secrets, and you know what they're planning to do. You're a touch no, right? That's what it's called. There are other things in the world that we don't even know about. There's people that have capabilities that we still don't know until they start talking about it and coming out with it, like you coming out and talking about it. There's no definition for it. You see, nobody has put a name on it, right? For instance, like when I grew up, I didn't know I was a psych. I didn't know I was psychic, you know. But I got a lot of people looking at me very strange, you know. And I didn't even know what the word psychic was. You know what I mean? So until you could find out what the name is, then you'll know where you belong, and then you'll start understanding more. But it's going to happen when it's meant to happen. So don't try to rush the process, but do accept yourself as you are. And even though there might not be many people who are like you, make sure that you are loving yourself because you're unique to how God made you. You're supposed to be unique. Not everybody's supposed to be the same. Spirit wants you to look at yourself every day in the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself. Because the damage that has been done in your life is so deep inside of you. And it's something that has been going on since you were a child. So it's like one experience after another. There's damage that has been done because you are different. So this is why Spirit wants you to go in the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself. Tell yourself that you're good looking, and start working on healing yourself. And it's okay to be different. It's okay to be unique. Spirit wants you to go and lick your wounds. Go lick your wounds. Take the time that you need to heal and come back stronger because you're about to meet somebody and this person's going to change your life. You're going to meet somebody that's very similar to you. The two of you are going to be stronger together and this person's going to change your life. And there's people around you that is going to cause problems. I mean, I'm talking about bad problems. Okay? Because they're not going to want you to get stronger and they're not going to want this other person to get stronger. These people are going to become angry and they're going to try to set up traps. The two of you are going to go through some kind of crazy stuff together, and it's going to be because you're different. But there's a reason why you are the way that you are. Let that sink in, okay? There's a reason you are the way that you are, okay? Anyhow, yeah, you have somebody that's coming in, somebody that's going to be a lot like you, if not exactly like you, you know. Both of y'all are going to have very similar experiences in life, and I think y'all are going to bond with these experiences. It looks like y'all are going to bond, and people around you are going to judge you and this person wrong because there's going to be something very significant. There's going to be a difference between you and this person that people are going to pinpoint and try to make it seem like something is wrong. I don't understand what it is, but it could be like race. Maybe, yeah, it could be race. It could be, I don't know what else it could be, honestly, but there's something here where people are going to try to tear the two of you apart, okay? Because they're going to see the strength that you and this person is going to have with each other. There's going to be this happy home, happy life, but people judging and clouding like a cloud over your happiness. There's something here between the two of you that people are not going to understand, and you need to be strong for it because the two of you are going to be very happy with each other. And for some of you, you might end up marrying that person, might even have children, because the reason why I think that is because of the Ten of Cups usually indicates children and a happy home and being very secure, and you know what I mean? So it makes me feel like y'all are going to have this happy home together. So you're going to end up with this person. Maybe not romantically, because I don't see anything really significant that says it's romantic, but it could be romantic, okay? Or this could be just somebody that you're going to end up living with for the rest of your life, okay? This actually reminds me of I used to work at a nursing home a long time ago, and I used to take care of this two women, and these two women, they lived together. They weren't romantically involved, but they lived together for years. They said I think it was like 30 or 40 years, and they were just the bestest friends. And yeah, after they met each other, and this kind of reminds me of them. I can't remember their name. I think one was name was Lois, and I can't remember the other one's name. Anyways, they lived with each other for years, and they were very happy with each other. They never got married again. I think one of them was married and had children, and the other one didn't. But they never got married again, and no, they weren't lesbians. They weren't lesbians. A lot of people thought that they were, but they weren't. I asked them, I was friends with them. I asked them flat out, and they were like, no. But they told me that a lot of people thought that too, but no, they weren't. I don't know all their backstory, but your situation could very well be like that, like two very deep, people together with a very deep bond. That's what I'm seeing here. Okay, could be romantic though. Okay, I'm not saying it's not. Anyways, Aries, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of this reading. This is why Spirit wants you to be prepared. You're gonna meet somebody who's gonna be a lot like you, but you won't be able to meet this person until you accept who you are and how you are as a person. Okay, 24 is coming out for you. It says you have a heart of gold and are very skilled and at maintaining balanced, stable relationships. You are loyal to your loved ones and are able to be the nurturer. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why I can't read. It says loyal to your loved ones and are able to be the nurturer, protector, and provider all at once. I am generous. That's nice. So put that in the comment section. I am generous. Anyways, yeah, you're going to have some people around you that are going to be trying to get you to separate from that person, cause all kinds of problems, you know? Okay, it's the top one. 444 is coming out. It says, trust your journey, trust the way your life unfolds, and trust that you are where you need to be at the present moment. I am protected. So put that in the comment section. You are protected. Okay? All right, guys, catch me in the next one. I know this reading, it may not be for everybody, but I do feel very sure that is for a handful of you. Okay? All right, guys, y'all catch me in the next one. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Bye.